Hi, I'm Jake from TradeLab.ai. This is a video that was shot live with a member, walking them through how to set up a simple RSI from scratch using TradingView. This is being done in the free automated trading platform, TradeLab. TradeLab.ai allows you to create your own trading bots without code using our visual builder. Here we'll see an example of how to set up a simple strategy using TradingView. Alright, so let's go ahead and start setting up a simple RSI. I'll go ahead and open up TradingView, and we will start by adding what we need to TradingView. So the first thing we'll do is go to indicators, find the RSI relative strength index. It's built into TradingView. It's the one we'll use. So our rules are going to be anytime it crosses up the 70, that's fine. But when we cross down, that's when we want to go ahead and do a short. And then when we cross down and then come back up the 30, we want to do a long. Okay, so to set that up, we'll go over to alert. We'll go to RSI. We have RSI. We know that from here, so that's what we want, the purple line in the data window, RSI. So we got that. We can go to crossing down the 70. Okay, and we're going to do this once per bar. And we'll come over to TradeLab. Okay, we'll name this Simple RSI.
Okay.
And
so you're in TradeLab right now. Okay,
yep.
Let me pull that up.
Okay.
Okay, so hang on. Simple RSI. Okay.
Yep, so I went to my strategies, I hit create new strategy. And I named
Simple RSI.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, and now we're going to select our symbol. First, we got to select our exchange if you haven't, and then we'll select our symbol. I'm using band right now. That's just what I have my TradingView on. You can use whatever you want. So now we'll come back to these settings in a moment. The first thing I want to do is press save.
Okay, you said you're crossing down or crossing up or crossing down?
Right now I am crossing down. I'm doing the top line, so I'm crossing down 70.
So you're overbought 70. Okay.
Okay.
And then you went to strategies. Okay, got it.
Okay.
Are you worrying about the side or anything in TradeLab?
Not yet. We'll come back to that.
Okay.
Okay, so the only thing I've done so far is select my exchange, I've selected my symbol, and I've named my strategy. Okay. And then we're going to hit save. When you hit save, you'll notice that the 4 tabs at the top pop up.
Right. Okay, I got them. I got 4 tabs.
Wonderful. So now we're going to go to the alerts tab.
Alerts.
Okay. And at the alerts tab, we're going to hit plus to add a new alert. And this is the alert builder.
Okay.
Okay. So anytime we talk about the TradeLab alert builder, this is how you get to it. So the alert builder allows you to build alerts for your strategy. And basically what it's made up of is multiple pieces of information called fields. Okay. And so each field has a name, it has a type, and it has a value. Okay. And so for what we want to do today, we want to make sure that we have we basically want to know if we're going to do a buy or a sell. And since the alert in TradingView is already using the RSI, we don't need to send any more information than just to say buy or sell. Okay? So we're going to go back to this alert builder. And really, based on what I just said, if I have a type right here and I type in buy or sell, that gives me everything that I need with this one field. Okay? But let's talk about a couple things. So if I wanted to trade multiple symbols, the way that TradingView works, I would need to set up multiple alerts, one per symbol. So every time you create an alert, it creates off of whatever symbol you have selected. So you would have to create 2 different alerts for 2 different symbols. And if that's the case, if you send a buy signal, we need to know which symbol it's for. So that's why we would have a symbol field here, and that would allow us to do our symbol. Now this dynamic box, if you check this or uncheck this, this actually changes the message. And if I have it unchecked, whatever I have here is listed in here. I gotta had it pre-saved from last time. Band. All right. So we would have band, and we would have our symbol. Okay. Now, if I want to hit dynamic, that changes it to ticker. Okay. And ticker means that it's going to take from TradingView, and TradingView has these things called variables. You don't have to worry about this all that much, but I like to show this. You can always go to TradingView variables. Just type this in Google. And how to use a variable in an alert. And I can link this somewhere on the video description or something like that. But basically, this is a page that shows you all the variables that TradingView provides. Now, the nice thing about TradeLab is I know people don't want to deal with this, and they don't know what any of this means. And so what I've done is create a dynamic system where I can say, okay, if I just check for symbol dynamic, it automatically knows to put ticker in. And that's going to automatically fill in the symbol from TradingView. Okay. Likewise, this dynamic can be put on any field, and then you can shove one of these variables into your alert, right? So if I said dynamic on interval, there's a TV variable right here, and these are the built-in variables for TradingView. And in here, I would find interval, right? And that allows me to send the interval, and that's going to be the time frame. So it would send 60 for 1 hour. They send it in minutes. So they say 60, and then they would say 1 for 1 minute, and I believe it's like 1S and 5S when they do that. So you can Google it and find this. I think it's listed in here somewhere. I always have to Google it when somebody asks me what the interval is. But anyway, so that's how that works. And there's a lot more in here, right? If you want to do the close bar price, the open bar price, this is how you send dynamic information. While we're here, just real quick, not to get off track, but if I wanted to send the RSI, okay, this is a plot. I can go to the data window and I can see the RSI indicator right here in the gray bar. This is a header. Everything under the header is all the plots for this indicator. And so I have a plot named RSI. Now I could come over here, and if I wanted to send my RSI, if I wanted to do my open, I've already showed you I could do TV variable here, open bar price. Now I'm sending my open, right? But if I want to send my RSI, I could say TV plot name. And if I'm sending this alert from the RSI, if I have RSI up here, then I can type in here RSI, and it creates this little special code, and that's going to pull the RSI from TradingView and send it here. Okay, so I know that was a little fast. I do have videos explaining that, but do you have any questions on that?
No, you're good. I've done some, like I said, I've done some Zigbee before. Okay. So I got an idea about pinescript, but like I can't code it. But I understand that TradingView will send, based on messages, will send to TradeLab. So I'm good on that.
Cool. Awesome. And so I just tried to make it easy here. You can experiment with these. And real quick, the plot name is right here. And then sometimes these names don't work. If it's a TradingView technical, it'll always work. But sometimes when people are coding it, they don't code it right. And so a name will show up here, but it's not really the name. And so at that point, what you have to do is you have to count which number this is. And the counting starts at 0. And if you forget that, I remind you here, if you go to plot number, it starts at 0. Okay. And so if I wanted to do RSI, it would be plot 0. If I wanted to do RSI base moving average, it would be plot 1. And this is a much more reliable way. This will always work. Always, right? If you get an update and they have moved it and changed which index it is, then that'll kind of break. So I try to use names, but sometimes the names don't work. So anyway, so there's that. So let's get back on task. So I believe for this, what we're doing, it makes sense to send symbol. It might even make sense, and we might as well send interval, just if we wanted to do multiple time frames, right?
Okay.
We don't really need RSI. I've shown how to send it. I'm just going to remove it. One thing I do want to note here is that my symbol, interval, and type are most always going to be strings. String is like words, alphanumeric, right? But my RSI, if I ever wanted to send it and do math with it, if I wanted to say greater than or less than, it has to be a number as the type. So we can either have alphanumeric, numbers, or true or false.
So on my alert builder, it has like a value of buy signal, and then it has symbol interval. What do I do with the buy signal? Like I don't know what I've done. I don't know if I've messed something up or.
So let's do this.
Okay.
On my screen, you can see that I have field name, and it says
hang on.
symbol.
It says
interval.
Yours says new template. 1 second.
Well, yeah, don't worry about that. If you scroll down a little bit, you'll see mine says field name and mine says symbol, interval, type, RSI. Can you read yours, please?
Yeah. So mine says field name, and then going down, I don't know why it says. I originally started trying to build something with ETH. So mine says ETH long, ETH, and market position.
Okay. Okay, no problem. So what we can do is make the field names match what I have. So you'll just remove what you have in those boxes, and you'll type symbol, interval, and type.
Okay, symbol lowercase, right?
Yep.
Is that what you have?
Yeah.
And then symbol, interval. And they are case sensitive, right?
The field names are case sensitive. The values are case insensitive unless you turn case sensitivity on in advanced settings.
Okay, so field names, symbol, interval, type. Got it. Type are all 3 string, and then value. I have different stuff for values. So
okay. So for the symbol, we want to check the dynamic box.
Yep, got it.
For interval, we want to check the dynamic box.
Yep.
And change interval to TV variable.
TV variable, okay. And I also have a symbol drop down on that.
Yes, and the symbol drop down, you should make it match whatever symbol that you're going to.
I should make it match, or I should just leave it as symbol?
No, you should make it match. You should select what symbol you want.
So, okay. So how would I make that match what symbol I want?
Well, in the drop down, so like right here, my value says band, right?
Yeah, I don't have that. Oh, yeah. Hang on. No, you're on symbol. I was on interval. Okay, my interval has TV and then simple. Yours has
So for the
TV
symbol, you
interval.
want it to be interval. Yes.
Okay,
Great.
got it. And then my value for symbol, I want it to be, you have band because that's what you're trading on.
Great.
I've got ETH. Okay.
Great.
I
Awesome.
think I'm good.
All right. And then for type, for the
EV
type
and strategy, I don't know what PO is.
Wait, what are you reading?
Yours says type, it says string, and then it says sell. So
Yes.
I'm going to change mine to sell, right?
Correct. Yeah. So you want to have the field name be type, and you want it to be value sell.
So I don't have a spot. Wait, trading TV value or TV variable or strategy variable?
So okay, let's start over. When we take a look at the field name, you have symbol, interval, and type.
Yep.
Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
So for symbol, it's dynamic. For interval, it's dynamic. For type, it is not dynamic.
I should not have checked that dynamic.
Yeah,
okay,
no worries.
Now I have strategy market position.
Okay, but now you can delete that, and then you can type in sell.
Sell. Okay. Lowercase sell. Okay.
Yes. And so this type that we're making, this is pretty much the alert name, right? So this is whatever you want to name your alert. And we're just going to do buy and sell today. But if you wanted to name it overbought, oversold, if you wanted to have alerts that turn stuff on and off, right? You can name it whatever you want. And I typically put that under a field name called type. That's not required though. You could make that type be alert name or Joe Bob or whatever you want. Okay. There's really no hard and fast rules here. The main thing is we're going to have this be type sell. And in a moment, we're going to go create some rules to tell the strategy how to handle the alerts. And when we do that, we just have to make sure that the rules use type sell, since that's what we're making our alert. Does that make sense?
Oh, yes.
Okay, wonderful. So now what we're going to do is at the top of Alert Builder, there's alert name. We kind of skipped it. If you could type in sell alert in the alert name, that'll help you for later.
Okay.
Okay, real quick, I heard you mention the alert template and the fact that I have new template. I have a lot of tests and weird stuff going on over here. Templates, you don't really need to worry about. We can talk about them later, but for most users, you won't ever really have to worry about alert templates. For advanced users, they're there for organization and that sort of stuff, right? But you should already be set up with your default alert template, and you can edit it through this screen and be none the wiser about the whole alert template thing. So we got this as sell alert. And while we're here, why don't we go back over to TradingView. And before we do that, we're going to click on our webhook URL. So we're going to copy that in TradeLab, click on the webhook, and then we're going to go back over to TradingView, and we're going to paste the webhook in. Might already be there, usually saves it, but that's always a good habit to be in. And so remember, we're crossing down on the 70, and that should make us do a short. So we want to do our sell. So this is our sell alert. So we're going to copy this alert message, and we're going to come over here and paste that in as a sell alert.
Okay. Okay. So mine says symbol, ticker, interval with double brackets, type, and sell.
That is perfect.
Okay.
Okay. I'm
going to click save.
I always name the alerts, so I would say like sell, and I might say like band, sell band. And then I would say
That's what I was
save.
getting ready to ask. Okay. ETH sell. Okay.
Okay.
Now, does it? What time frame is that working on? Is that working on whatever my chart is on?
Yes. Whatever you have for your chart is what's going to.
Okay.
Okay. So now let's go ahead and do our buy signal. So if we go back to TradeLab first, let's start with TradeLab. We already have our sell alert. We should be good to go. Just while we're here, if you were to make a strategy and you wanted to share it, it would probably be a good idea to set up your alerts in here and then type nice instructions so that when people copy it, they know how to set up their alerts. I've also not only put instructions in here, but conditions and options, and those actually match the conditions and options right here. And then you have your alert name and your message, right? And so I present that in the strategy setup in that order just to match TradingView, right? So just to say that these actually don't matter and you can leave these blank unless you were to go share it or if you wanted to remind yourself later on.
Got it.
Okay. All right. So I'll hit save and now we finally have our first sell alert. So now we can actually just hit copy on this and it'll copy it. And then we can hit.
Where'd you hit copy at?
There's a copy button right next to the edit button.
Okay, got it.
Okay. And then we'll hit the edit. And now I can just do buy alert instead of sell. And down in the type, the most important, we need to change that to buy instead of sell. Everything else will remain the same. Okay. So now let's go ahead and click on the alert message. To copy it, we'll go back to TradingView and let's set up our second alert in TradingView. So we'll select RSI, select our RSI line, and this time we want to do crossing up. And the value for crossing up is going to be 30. Okay, we're going to do that once per bar for the options. And then I would go ahead and paste my message. As I said before, it is a good habit to go get your webhook every time. You'll see that the webhook was already here, saved for us, and that would be the same webhook that we pasted before.
Okay. I saw in your video you basically said that the webhook doesn't change, but
so to be clear, the webhook it saves in TradingView from the last time that you used it, and on TradeLab it doesn't change from alert to alert. What it does is it changes per template. Remember, I said you don't really need to worry about templates. No, most people will use probably just one template. And they might modify it. If you use a template and you don't need to use some of the fields, that's okay. Like as long as you write it, it'd be fine. So technically you could write all of your strategies and only use one alert template ever. And it would be fine. If you wanted to use different alert templates, that gives you a different webhook. And so what that is organization, right? So every webhook, you could separate them. It's up to you if you want to do that. And if you want to do that, it's as easy as pressing that plus button next to the template that you saw in the drop down in the alert builder. And it'll create you another one and you can switch between them. It's really not that hard. But when I first started this, I had people create their own alert templates to start, and I tried to explain the concept, and it was just another step that people didn't need to do. And so now I just sort of hand it to you and say, create your alert and don't worry about the template, right? So, but anyway, so we have the crossing up for RSI, we have, I pasted my message for buy, and we could name this alert the buy band. We have our webhook URL. I hit create, and now we have buy and sell alerts for RSI. So now I'm going to go back to TradeLab. Going to hit save on my alert. I have 2 alerts here now. And that's all we need to do for the alerts. So we're going to go to edit. Okay. So the first thing I do.
Oh, never mind. I got you. Edit. Okay. Got you. First thing. Go ahead.
Yeah. So the first thing I do when I set up my strategies is I worry about my entry rules. So I would create an entry rule down here by hitting add entry rule. And excuse me. All right. And so what I would do is start with my long. Okay. So the first thing that we have to discuss is how we want to trade. So some people only want to do long. So some people do spot, right? And so they would mostly do longs. Some people only want to do long contracts or only want to do shorts in certain markets. So you could obviously set up your rules to only do one or the other. You can also set up 2 separate strategies where you have rules for long and then a separate strategy where you have rules for short, and you can run them side by side. This is actually beneficial for when you're trying to swing back and forth really fast. If you have hedge mode on and stuff, that can work. I actually just put in a new swing feature, so we may not ever have to worry about that and having separate if you don't want to. But anyway, the point I'm bringing up is we're going to create a combo strategy. And a combo strategy is one that trades long and short within one strategy. Now, if you look at my trade settings, you'll notice that my side is a drop down and it has buy and sell. There's no like special combo or anything here. And that's because technically a strategy can only be on one side at a time. But the way that TradeLab works is we can change any of these fields on the fly. So as an alert comes in and it tells me to do a sell, I can change this. I can have a rule say, no, we're going to make our side a sell instead of a buy. And now all of a sudden this whole strategy has switched sides. And if you were looking at it in my strategies, it used to say market long and now it says market short, right? And so they're dynamic. These strategies are all dynamic and they can change based on what your rules do. Okay, so we're going to start with our entry rule. We're going to create a long entry. I'm going to name my rule long entry. And we're going to start with our conditions. So the way that rules work, the conditions are like if statements. You know, if this is true and this is true and this is true, then do this. And that's what the actions are. So all the conditions must be true for the actions to run. So we're going to do custom alerts. And me looking at custom alerts means that this next drop down is going to have all the stuff for custom alerts. If I wanted to have something from my trade, I would select trade and that would give me the price or something like that. In a second, I'll look at my strategy and that's going to be all of these fields up here. And I'll show you that in a second. So let's do custom alerts. We'll do field and we'll do type. Okay, and this references what we made in our alert builder earlier, right? So remember I said you could make this alert name if you wanted to. Well, then you wouldn't say type here, you would say alert name here, right? Okay, so we want the type to be equal to buy for our long. Okay, so whatever you typed in the value in your alert builder, you must type here.
Okay.
Okay. We're going to create a second condition. Press plus on the conditions again, and we're going to look for our symbol from our custom alerts. So I type in symbol.
So custom alerts, symbol, yep. Lowercase, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, and for this one, I could type in band USDT. But that would mean that every time I copy this, I have to go in and edit all my rules. And I'm going to copy my rules a couple times, so there's going to be multiple places. That'd be annoying. So instead, we're going to hit reference field, and this box makes, usually I can type in whatever I want here. But if I check reference field, it turns it into a drop-down. And the drop-down is a collection of all the fields. Everything you could think of, okay? Everything that's available. And so what we want to reference is symbol. And the capital S symbol right here is the same symbol that you see in trade settings. Okay, so lowercase s symbol is equal to capital case S symbol.
Next report.
Okay, and just for reference, this is probably the weirdest and most confusing part. Just the fact that it does have to be lowercase s there and uppercase s, and that's the way it works. That's going to be much clearer and easier in the new builder, because everything's going to be categorized. So now we're going to press plus one more time, and we could do the same thing for our interval, right? So we could say custom alerts interval. And if you were trading on the 15-minute, you would type in 15. If you're trading on the 1 hour, you would type in 60.
So I could do, if I'm wanting to do 5 minute, I would do 5.
5, yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay. All right, and that is all we need to do for our conditions and our long. So now, when we place our order, we want to add an action, and the first thing we want to do before we place our order is make sure that we're placing it for a long. Okay, so I would say set as my type, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to set my strategy. Remember, I said strategy represented all of these settings and advanced settings. Okay, so the strategy side is what I want to set, and the value I want to set it to is the buy.
Wait a minute, hang on. Okay, strategy. Oh, and then the second one is side. Okay, so field needs side.
Yeah, so that first drop down is the category, right? It's the category of what type of data you're seeking.
And so the type would be buy.
The value would be buy. The type would be set. The field type would be strategy. The field would be side, and the value would be buy.
What about the type I?
The type is set.
Type is set. Okay. Value is buy. You said. Okay, got it.
Awesome.
Okay.
So what that does is it sets that drop down up in trade settings to buy. We understand that, right? So now we're going to hit plus on the actions one more time. And here we are, the home stretch. For type, we're going to select place order. And that's going to place us in order. When you place an order, you do not need to change anything else. Everything else is grayed out. You don't need to select anything. It's just place order. And it will place an order based on what side that you have selected.
Okay.
Okay. So now, instead of doing that all over again, let's go to the top of that entry rule and we'll hit the clone button.
Clone. Okay. And then we'll do short.
Yep. And so now I usually do my long on the left side and I do my short on the right side. Just for organization. Now I'm going to have short entry on the right. Yep. Instead of buy, we're going to do sell.
Okay, so I'm going to talk you through this one. So rule name could be, for me, I'm doing ETH. So I could do ETH short.
Yes.
Everything stays the same except the reference field No. Sorry. Type 1 or type I would say sell. Correct?
Yes. And just so you know, the I is actually a info hover, and it's supposed to have a hover. I guess some of these don't.
Okay.
I'll need to add those, but you can hover over that I, like on conditions you can, and it gives you a tooltip.
Okay.
So that's what those eyes are everywhere in the program, and they're there for like little help bubbles, right?
Gotcha. And so then everything else is going to stay the same except the actions. And I'm going to go down to where it says set, and I'm going to say instead of buy long, I'm going to say sell short.
You got it.
And then strategy, field, place order is all going to be the same.
You got it.
So then I can jump up to the top where it says trade settings. And I can say like my take profit will be like 5%. Stop loss will be 2%. And I can just say run it, right?
Yeah. Well, you need to put in a trade amount.
Trade amount. Okay. I got that. $3.
Yeah, so your trade amount would either be percentage or USD, and then you would put in however much. And
looks super complicated, but it's not at all.
Yep. Well, once that's what I was saying earlier, like before we started this, like it's super powerful.
Yes.
Like this whole setup. And that is my problem. It's like I'm looking at it and I'm like, holy cow, dude, there's so much going on here. But what I was telling Jane earlier is I feel like after I've done it a few times, it'll be pretty.
So you got your trade amount, your take profit. Your order type right now would be set to market. Of course, you could change that if you're concerned about that, and you could set it to limit. If you do set it to limit, you do need to worry about time and force. So if you have it at market, time and force doesn't matter. If you set to limit, you need to look at time and force, and fill or kill or immediate or cancel are some of the safest options, but they often don't do what people want. So obviously those are both going to try to place the order, and if it doesn't place immediately, it will kill the order. Fill or kill especially has to place fully. Immediate or cancel could partially place, and at least you'd be good. Fill or kill has to be the whole thing or nothing. If you ever get confused about that, you can hover over the I next to time and force, and you can actually click on this. And I have a whole thing dedicated to explaining everything about the time and forces, because people ask about that. So what I usually do, and what most people do, is you would go into time and force. You would set your order type to limit. You would go into time and force, and you would set it to GTC. That's good till cancel. Okay, and then at that point, you would want to open up advanced settings, because if you just leave this good till cancel and you place a limit order and then the price goes in the opposite direction, you are going to have this strategy stuck waiting to fill, and it won't. So what we need to do is make sure that it cancels after a certain amount of time. And that's what we have a limit timeout for. So this is hours, minutes, and seconds right here. So I could type in 1 into the middle box, and that would be 1 minute. So it has 1 minute to fill. If it doesn't, you're out of here. Right? So that's how that works. I don't think that there's anything else that's super fundamental and important for you to know. There's definitely going to be some things that, like for your take profit and your stop loss, you're going to set these as percentages, and those are hard take profit stop. As soon as it hits, it exits the whole thing. If you wanted to start doing more creative take profits, also those are going to set as market orders, I believe, right along with the original order. If you want to set, say, limit and get a better fee on it, then you would have to change profit type from percentage to advanced. Okay, and you could do that for both of them. And when you do that, or just one of them, it doesn't have to. When you do that, it's going to change it to configure TPSL, And if you did that for both, just so you know, these buttons lead to the same screen. It's the same thing. This is a wizard that walks you through creating multiple different lines. I could say I want 3 take profit lines, and it'll help me set them up all in one go. Do I want them equally spaced? Do I want to pick prices for each? However I want to set them up, right?
Cool.
So that's how that works. And I'll exit out of that. So that being said, if you just do the regular percentage, that'll work for now. And if you want to experiment with that later, you definitely can.
For sure. I think I'm good right now. I just want to kind of see it work and see what happens with everything.
Absolutely.
I know that like this is going to be the starting part and I want to build on it. I just don't know what I want to build necessarily yet. And I want to make sure that like I have a basic understanding of what is happening before I start building on it and getting a little bit more complicated. So yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Awesome. Yep. Not a problem.
Right, guys. Easy.
Yeah, it's one of those things you do it once or twice. You got it in the bag.